Yes, good evening. Welcome to Football Heritage TV. This is episode 1 of the Spurs Friday Throwdown. Bit of a throwback to when I had the football throwdown, but chucked in the word Spurs and hoping that people wouldn't notice until I've just said that. Big up, Sean. How are you, buddy? You well? You good?
I'm good, but you know what? I meant to tell you backstage, but I haven't. I forgot to tell you. I'm actually absolutely buzzing. Not just because it's game day, but I'm actually buzzing because I've just bought a coffee and like one of those like barista coffee machines, and I've been trying to figure out how to get it going. So I've had about 9 espressos trying to get the right consistency. So my hands are a little bit jittery. I'm gonna crash.
I love that. On. Yeah, that's the excuse most people use on a Friday night. I had to keep having another pint to check the pipes were clean and make sure that it tasted good. Yeah. For everyone in the chat, this will be a weekly occurrence. Normally we don't play on Friday nights, so normally this hour will be for us to look forward to the weekend ahead, catch up on all the weekly news. But today, I'm guessing it's going to be heavily dominated by. I'm guessing, I'm the one asking the questions, by Tottenham versus Burnley in the FA Cup. Sean, before we get to that, I'd like to talk about the news that has baffled me. The news for me that tells me there is a complete lack of talent in world football, that the world is upside down, that the news that allows all of us to hang on to our dreams, no matter how bad we are at something, that we can still make it. That Eric Dier is wanted by Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, as in multiple Champions League winning Bayern Munich, win titles every year, just signed Harry Kane for 100 million, have players of quality all over the park. Eric Dier. I thought it was a joke, Sean. What do you make of all this? Everyone's coming out of it now.
What do I make of it? Well, I think it's definitely strange, but I think on some level, I think it makes a little bit of sense. Like, you've signed a £100 million striker, and maybe he's a little bit homesick. Maybe he wants one of his best mates. Maybe there's a logic behind it. It's a cheap deal for Bayern Munich. Maybe Bayern Munich think that, the standard in Germany isn't quite as good as the Premier League. Maybe the pace is different to the point where Eric Dier. I think we were having this conversation yesterday, right? Eric Dier. Oh no, sorry, it wasn't with you. It was on a different channel. But I think that we were having this conversation about Eric Dier being the wrong horse for our particular course now, with the way we play and the start and the high line. But he would, he's an appropriate defender for a certain club. He might fit in well at like a West Ham, where he's also linked to. But look, if you're Harry Kane, if you're Bayern Munich and you think that Harry Kane will, has kind of given it a seal of approval, or maybe even made it a position that he's taken, say, oh, listen, we should go and get Eric Dier. Then maybe it makes sense to keep your £100 million guy happy. I don't expect Eric Dier to play very often. He's not going to go in there and be a starter, is he? If he does go, he'll go in there to be a backup, or, because Bayern Munich have got 3 or 4 fantastic defenders in front of him. But if it's just an addition to the squad for depth and whatever, I think it, and good luck to Eric Dier for what it's worth. Once we don't need him anymore, I want him to go off and win trophies, be the next name on the list of people that win trophies before Tottenham.
You just know it, don't you? You just know it. I mean, look, let's have a look at what Romano said. Listen, this has come out from Plettenberg, who I think Plettigol was his nickname. He was the one heavily behind all of the Harry Kane information in the summer from Sky Germany. But Romano has said that Thomas Tuchel already approved. I love that. When they have to clarify that a manager is saying, yeah, I'm happy for that player. That is bewildering. But Thomas Tuchel already approved Eric Dier as candidate for Bayern last summer, and he's back in the list now. He's considered a versatile player with experience, ready to help immediately. However, Bayern Munich have 3 options now for a new centre-back. Decision soon, and Spurs open to letting him go. I mean, as you said, they've got, by versatile, he can play holding midfield from his earlier days. Is that what you think they're going with?
Well, he's not getting ahead of Kim and Upamecano, is he? Let's be honest. Right?
Yeah, you've got Kim Min-jae
and Upamecano. That's not happening. So
and Matthias de Ligt. And Matthias de Ligt as well. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Look, how should Eric Dier be remembered? Because, listen, I don't rate him, but I do feel that everyone's very harsh towards him. Like, I do feel that he had some good years in a Spurs shirt where, all right, he was never an elite centre-back, Sean. But you know what? For some of those years, he did a job. And I do feel that through, I don't know, I say through no fault of his own, but he's been kept here a long time. And I do feel that he's getting a bit of a raw deal from a lot of the fan base. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I've been saying it for ages. I think he's scapegoated a lot of the time. Like you got to remember, right, that not all goals that are conceded. If you want to sort of regress the argument and the analysis and reverse engineer it, then you're always going to find that a defender is responsible at some point for not doing his job. But ultimately,
sure,
you know, let's just use the Wolves game for example. He was back in the team. We concede 2 late goals. Everyone goes typical. And also, for what it's worth, Ben Davies is a victim of the Eric Dier hate. He gets thrown in. It's like they're a double act, like Ronnie and Reggie Cray. Oh, Ben Davies and Eric Dier have been here too long. Ben Davies is a completely different animal to Eric Dier. Ben Davies should be, in my opinion, celebrated and respected. Eric Dier maybe not to the same level, but I think that he's scapegoated a lot of the time. I think that, you know, oftentimes the mistake, especially in this system, the mistake that leads to the goal starts further up the field with a misplaced pass, where you then have players that are out of position because of the inverted fullback and the weight and the higher line. And ultimately then you're relying on a defender who doesn't have the pace, doesn't have, you know, the confidence as well, and doesn't have the ability necessarily to get back and clear up, not like a Mickey Ben. So I'll sit there and say when it's his fault and it's purely his fault, like it was several times last season, he made a load of clangers, his, you know, heading back to Lloris and stuff like that. Then you call it out for what it is. But over the years, I think he's been scapegoated for a lot of the mistakes that have been made elsewhere. And because people don't like him and don't want him at the club and don't think he's good enough, he's the one who gets the brunt end of the stick. And I don't think it's necessarily always fair. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Do you know what? Listen, what I don't want to do, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. I don't rate him. I don't think he should be at this football club. But I do massively agree with you, right? I feel like any game we play now, it doesn't matter whether or not we lost because we couldn't keep the ball up front, because our midfield didn't play well. We automatically go, Davis' fault, Dier's fault. And it's kind of like I look at the game against Bournemouth, right? Did Royale and Davis have a brilliant game? No. Could you even say they had a good game? Probably not. But for me, the problems I was watching in that game were a lot higher up the pitch.
100%. The ball was given away by, you know, Pape Sarr lost the ball in the first 20 minutes to put when Dominic Solanke got put through. Yeah, not Kulusevski. Brennan Johnson mistimed a couple of passes. Pedro Porro mistimed a couple of passes. There were a lot, you know, if you're playing at 100 miles an hour, which we do, which is going back to this overriding narrative that Tottenham at times need to calm down, take their foot off the accelerator. Because if you press at 100 miles an hour and then you get your ball back and you play at 100 miles an hour, your stamina is going to drop and then you're going to be more likely to make misplaced passes and then you're going to get balls lumped over the top. And then ultimately the defenders are always the ones where you have, in my opinion, you're lacking context in the analysis if you say it's the defender's fault that we give up opportunities. But I think that comes with the territory, Savva, of being... So I'm talking at 100 miles an hour. I'm about to have a heart attack.
No, you're good. You're good.
About the amount of caffeine going through my body right now.
If you die live on stream, can I have some of your subscribers? Can I?
You can have them all, mate. I won't need them anymore.
Like a YouTube will, if you will.
Yeah, 100%. No, look. I think but at the same time, I think it does go with the territory that, you know, ultimately, if there is mistakes made as a defender, they're going to get punished. A striker, Harry Kane didn't take every single chance he had, right? But the worst case scenario of him missing a chance is that we just don't score. Whereas if a defender does make a mistake, then it's a higher likelihood that you're going to concede. And so errors are punished more severely at the back end of the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. But by the way, for anyone asking, listen, I don't want to see them playing. I don't rate them as players really, but I do feel that we've massively we cop out. It's almost as though we can never ever put the blame on one of our favourites. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's why people. All right, Stewie. All right, mate. All right, yeah. Nice, I think that's. Oh God! Once a day. Bearing in mind, I'm up here most of the day streaming. Sits on the bed behind me. Every now and then we have that one show where he wants to let me on your lap, and oh my good God.
Nice.
You know. This is why I think a lot of people got frustrated with me when I was talking about Romero. Like, it was okay last season to say, you know what? today he didn't play well. But the go-to was, yeah, but he's playing next to Dier. I was like, hang on. Dier doesn't make him lunge in. You know, exactly. Dier's not making him do a rush tackle 30 yards out. So I do feel we need to be able to apportion blame correctly versus saying, I don't rate a player and would like him to leave. I do feel that there's a little bit of that. Look, some news that came out earlier. By the way, a couple of people have mentioned Udogie having a hamstring. I've not seen anything to do with that today.
Paul O'Keefe replied to someone saying he was struggling after Bournemouth with tight hamstrings, but he should be okay to play.
If not, Davis to left back, Emerson Royale and Ashley Phillips to centre half. Oh, it's all very exciting tonight at Tottenham Hotspur. Big up to you, Danny Kiriakou. Big up to you, mate. Hope you are well. There's 200 of you in the chat and growing, and only 47 likes, 1 in 4. Come on, that is Richarlison vibes. Come on, let's get Harry Kane vibes going in here. Look, smash that like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already, as we drive towards 13,000. Please subscribe to Sean. I believe he's just gone over 21k. So the next milestone, I don't know if you look at it by 1ks or 5s, but Sean is on his way to 25k at some point. So please do subscribe if you haven't already to both channels. You know where to find us both. Sean, there was this news that came out as well from Romano earlier. I don't know if I kind of missed this one, if I'm honest, a few weeks back, where Romano was talking about Tottenham and Sevilla both looked set to present proposals to Belgian midfielder Stanis Adumbo-Mazambo from Ajax. A lot of people were then saying, "Oh, we've seen this kid; he's really good, and yeah, we should go for him." I don't know anything about him. He plays for
Ajax Young. He's never played. I don't think he's ever played for their first team.
There we go.
I really struggled to find any meaningful, even on the Y Scout. Like there was only probably, I don't know, 50 minutes of clips, versus another player. There'll be 5 million hours of it. Whereas, so it looks an interesting player, but I've got no idea how you kind of validate or qualify someone who plays for the Ajax Youth Academy.
Yeah. I can honestly say I once had them in my ACCA, and that was about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, young Ajax. Yeah, they must be better than whoever they're playing. It's Ajax, right? And I think they lost, but never mind. But look, he's not coming to Tottenham. It's all gone very quiet today, by the way, on the Dragusin front, Sean.
Yeah.
For the last few days, it's been manic, hasn't it? Willie won't he? His agent says no. Romano and the like say yes. Napoli want to have a say. Apparently, they bid 20 million euros, I believe, and a player or 2 players or something like that. Then we heard late last night that a formal bid is expected Friday. It's now Friday, 5:20. I haven't seen a formal bid go in. I still think we're going to get this over the line. Do you see there's any way in which Napoli do take him from us? Are you worried about that in any way?
I'm not worried, but I've got no reason why I shouldn't not be worried. Like I just think that it's going to happen. But what do I know? I'm just using my gut to say. I think that maybe if you were Genoa, would you want to sell one of your best talents to one of your rivals, or would you rather sell him overseas to get him out of the way? So for me, I think it's going to happen. I think that his agent is just always talking a little bit too much, trying to spice things up, trying to get his big payday, trying to, insinuate that there's more than one bid or more than one buyer. I think it will happen, mate. I think it will happen. For me, I worry more about when it's going to happen, and then if it happens too close to the Manchester United game, I think we spoke about this yesterday. Like,
does he go in? Does he not?
Away,
Yeah. I mean, I said this last night, so I've got to take ownership of this, right? I know you're probably not as cutting as I am with this sort of thing, but I said if Spurs don't get this over the line, I think it's embarrassing. Do you go along with that? Have you got a different way of describing it? And do you see where I'm coming from?
I think it depends on. Like, none of us know what the intentions are, right? Like, it appears for all intents and purposes like we've identified him, but I think we also had identified. We were trying to bid with Brentford for David Raya, and then they ended up asking for too much relative to what we perceived the value was, and we had a plan B, and the plan B worked out. So, like, it's embarrassing if this one fails and it then turns out that we don't get anything done, or that it kicks the can down the road and we don't get anything done. And if we do get something done, it's the last week, typical. Then it becomes a real frustration. But if Tottenham, and like I say, this isn't necessary. I know everyone wants to immediately go, this is Daniel Levy, but let's bear in mind that Daniel Levy doesn't know what the player's worth. Daniel Levy's had conversations with 4 people that you hope will have some sort of idea, and that's Rob McKenzie, Paratici, Scott Munn, maybe even not Scott Munn, but the guys that are kind of the scouts and the director of football in that regard. And so they're going to say, I think the right valuation for this player is X, right? And then Daniel Levy's probably going, okay, then and even if it is him who's negotiating, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it's based on the valuation that the football people have identified. Now, if the football people have turned around and said, he's worth 30 million, mate, or he's worth 30 million to us, and Daniel Levy's going, all right, well, let's just start the ball rolling with 20 million and presume that we're the only people in the race. If that's what's happening behind the scenes, then yeah, it's another nail or another kind of indelible mark against Daniel Levy's name. But we don't know any of that stuff. We'll never know any of that stuff. So for me, I'm just going to wait and trust the process and hope that if this one doesn't work out, that we have a plan B, just like we did with the Tapsoba versus Van der Ven, just like we did with Raya versus Vicario. I would hope that if we have at least got someone else in the background that we are comfortable, that we are confident that we can pivot to if something was to go wrong with the Dragusin.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing for me. Actually, before I come to that, just quickly, Lisa Davis said, big up sexy Savva and my gorgeous Surrey neighbour, Sean. You got an adjective this time. Last time you were just the neighbour from Surrey.
Everybody else was sexy, and I was just geographically...
you were assigned a location in the United Kingdom. Yes. Big up to you. And by the way, a big up to Phil P. Big up, Phil. Always out and about in the Spurs community is our Philly P. Said Savva and Shawnee equals the Dier and Davis of YouTube. Wow, that's a bit harsh. You decide who's who. Dier, probably a nice bloke and great around the club. Not good enough, but good luck to him.
I'll be the Eric Dier, mate. Have you seen his bird?
Mate, lucky you. You're off to Bayern Munich to win a title. Good luck to you. Good luck to you.
Not the end of the world.
Yeah. I'm about to be a substitute when all the centre halves are fit at Tottenham. You're about to go and play for Bayern Munich and play golf with your best mate Harry Kane. So big up, Phil P. Really appreciate that. I was going to say more on Van der Ven, Sean's Romero, but cool. We'll be Spurs has-beens, if you will. Lots of people asking to see Stewie. I don't know why. I mean, you all know what Stewie looks like. Just a pug. Sean, is half the problem?
Do you think it's going to happen, mate? Sorry, just like, I know you said you think it's embarrassing if it doesn't happen. Well, in your mind, none of us know, but in your mind, do you think it's going to happen, or do you think there's going to be some sort of hiccup?
I do, because I feel like all the noises you've heard are that he wants to join the Premier League and Tottenham. Now, again, noises. How many noises do we hear every day now that, there are, everyone's the next Fabrizio Romano. Everyone knows something more than the other ones. I do think we'll get it done. I think that, I don't think Levy, for one, would want the backlash of, right, first of all, it was announced that Todibo was in talks. And then that deal's not going to happen because, let's be honest, it's price. Let's be brutally honest, it's price, right? Secondly, you then go, okay, right, we're not going to get that guy over the line. Well, hang on, we got Dragusin in our mind. If Dragusin doesn't get over the line, where do you go? Do you then go to, as we talked about yesterday, a Tosin or a Lloyd Kelly, who I think would be good if you got Dragusin as well. But if that was the third centre-back, I find it slightly underwhelming. So I don't know whether that's playing on their minds. I think it will be done. I think it will be done by Monday. But I did say I thought it would be done by Wednesday this week. So I don't know.
It depends on, I think it also depends on what's going on. Like, I did a video this morning about this. I hate to say it, but I've got a real bad feeling about some of these loans that were terminated, like unexpectedly terminated. They're coming back, and they're now additional headaches, right? Because technically, obviously, Daniel Levy in the summer didn't approve the idea of not registering a player, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to have someone that couldn't play just sitting there chewing up the salary, like the wage bill. So now you've got Reguilon that's back, and there was a break clause inserted into the deal, but it wasn't necessarily guaranteed that he was coming back. Jed Spence was certainly a surprise. Japhet Tanganga hasn't played a minute in Augsburg, so he might be coming back. I don't know if Ndombele might be. I'm not sure if there's a break clause in that, but that might.
He's being sent back, isn't he? I'm pretty sure he's being sent back.
If he is being sent back, then we've got 4 more players coming back into our squad than we thought we were going to have. Right, that's a problem. That's a real problem, because Daniel Levy is not going to not register these players. And so normally you kick the can down the road with a loan move. You say, all right, we can't sell him. If they're not young players trying to be developed, then they're players that you hope will go and find some value, put on a performance, and you can sell them next year. But in the summer, you have 3 or 4 months to figure out what you want to do with them then. In January, you've got 31 days. And if we didn't expect to have these 4 players back, and now we do, that's 4 more headaches we have to solve right now. And if we can't get rid of them and find them new homes, then are we really going to have room in the squad to bring in more players? And that, to me, I think it could be a ticking, like an issue.
Let's break down. There's 5 players that are coming back this window. Let's break those 5 players down, right? Let's look at the ones that are staying out on loan. So Joe Rodon, by all accounts, is having a good season for Leeds. Whenever I watch them, I think that's his level. I think if I was Joe Rodon, I would have a nice career in the Championship, get 400 or 500 games under my belt, playing at that level, earning a decent salary. I'd be happy with that, right? Not being mean to him. I just don't think he's good enough or mobile enough for this level. Alfie Devine is staying at Port Vale. I spoke to a couple of Port Vale fans at the Content Awards. The Young Content Creator of the Year award was like this 11 or 12-year-old kid from Port Vale. And he was on the table next to us with his mum and dad. And we spoke to them and said, Alfie Devine, and they were like, he's brilliant. He's brilliant. And you would expect that, right? The hype around him, you'd expect that in that league. So let's look at the 5. Let's go through them one by one, right? These are the 5 we're going to go through. You've got Ndombele, Dane Scarlett, Jed Spence, Japhet Tanganga, and Serge Reguilon. So let's start with the easy one. Serge Reguilon, it's already been confirmed that he's going back somewhere. He's going out.
Yeah, now, but it hasn't been necessarily organised yet, though, right? So you still got to figure that out.
Not that we know.
You've got to allocate time to. Okay. So he's not going to be a problem for the squad, but you still got to allocate time to organising that deal.
It's probably why we've got about 15,000 new technical directors of football and head scouts, isn't it? To deal with all the deadwood. So look, he'll probably go out. For me, I'd cut our losses and I'd get 10, 15 million, whatever you can for him, because he's only got 18 months left on his contract. So you've got Reguilon, I don't think is going to be part of the squad. You've got, I'm not saying I rate him, but left back, you've got Adogi. Ben Davies can play there. Van der Ven can play there. And Sessegnon apparently is still a Tottenham player. So when he's fit, he can play there, apparently. Jed Spence. Let's move to Jed Spence.
Did you read Daniel Farke's analysis of him?
I did indeed. I did read Daniel Farke's analysis.
I've never seen something quite as damning as a testimonial, if you like a review. He's basically given him 1 star on Trustpilot. Like, he's basically said, avoid this. We expect everybody who comes in, whether they're a permanent player or a loanee, to adhere to our standards. We have high standards around professionalism, attitude. It's not just about if you're a good player; it's about what you put out, how you act. And that's why he's been kicked to the curb. And apparently, according to some Leeds fans, one of the things he told Daniel Farke to F off when he was asked to play on the left, and also refused to go to a children's hospital. Allegedly, I don't know if this is true. I've just been reading about it, but apparently he was asked to go to a local children's hospital and said, no, not interested. Like, I don't know. If any of that's true, and then you hear Ange, you see that old video from Ange saying the difference between, very, very good or like the very best and most people in the Premier League in terms of technicals, it's not that steep. but where the difference is in mentality. Give me someone's character over someone's ability all day long. If that's how he feels, that character trumps the caliber of player, then you align that with Jed Spence, and what do you get? It's a mismatch, right?
Well, look, let's look at this, right? So sorry for the dodgy site. I've been trying to find the quote.
I've got it on Twitter if you want it.
By Daniel Farke. Oh, oh God, that is tiny. I'll tell you what, don't worry. I'll read it out, right? I'll read out what was said. We don't just bring it up. It says, he's a player of great potential and also a cool guy with a really good heart. So we wish him all the best. But sometimes you need to take a decision. I don't want to talk too much about Jed right now, which I find that funny because he goes on to talk about him loads. Because he's meanwhile also back at Tottenham, and I totally respect he's their player. Listen, in the summer, we came here in order to create and to bring new values and to create a new culture within the club. And when we speak about a player, if he's on here on a permanent or a loan deal, we have expectations, and these expectations are in several topics important. Obviously, it's important, the potential and the quality of the player, but also his professionalism, its discipline, its workload on and off the pitch, and also the soft skills. We decided, okay, this is the player we want in our group, and we want to represent Leeds United. But our demands are very, very, very high. And it doesn't differ between loan players and permanent players. So from that, what are you getting? What are you getting from that? That he's not professional, that he's not working hard?
He's a good player, but he's not working hard enough. He's unprofessional, and he's a bit of an idiot. Bit of an ego, bit of a I'm too big for this club. I'm too big for you lot. You know, I don't want to adapt. I don't want to work for the team. It's all about me, me, me. And as I said a minute ago, right? If Ange said similar things to what Farke said, right? Which is you are, you know, it's more than just being a good player. It's about being a good guy, being part of the team, driving forward. It's more important. That stuff is more important than just your abilities.
Isn't this
Jed Spence is get him out, and Daniel Levy pushed that transfer. So Daniel Levy's in the mud on that one.
Yeah, I listen. I do think it's a tough situation because listen, he is a young lad that's probably got a lot of potential. You don't know who he's surrounded himself with. You like to think that these youngsters are going to be surrounded by people that have got their best interest at heart for their career, not for the immediate 1-2 years. Let's make loads of money and piss out the wall. And so, look, I think he'll be going. But look, let's move to the next player. Before we do, just quickly. Oh, this is lovely. This is lovely. Sean Henry had it yesterday, but Daniel Levy, I said, Mr. Butler, I think I am in love with you.
Thanks, mate.
Followed by Mr. Butler, my heart beats faster when I see you. Followed by Mr. Butler, you are my heart stopper. Do you know what? I think he's very polite. Like, Mr. Butler, you know, makes him sound very, very important. Thank you very much for the super chats, even if they are rather creepy. Sean, lock your door, mate. Lock your door. Lock your door. Then we move to Japhet Tanganga, who's the third defender coming back. Now, Reguilon's played like 12 times for Man United and hardly ever 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Jed Spence has played 7 times due to being injured, never 90 minutes. Tanganga takes the absolute biscuit. Tanganga's gone on loan. I'm guessing they've paid us a loan fee and some of the wages, and he hasn't played a minute of football for Augsburg. What's happening with Tanganga? What do you make of him? And is this somebody you've got to cut your losses with and say, this has been 4 or 5 years now?
Well, I think there's a little bit of context for the Augsburg. I think that he went there for one manager that really liked him. Then he got injured when he first arrived. And then during the rehab period, Augsburg manager lost his job. A new guy's come in, plays a different system, doesn't fancy Tanganga. So it's not quite as bad as it looks on paper, but that still doesn't look good, right? He hasn't played a single minute in Germany. Yeah. And what an absolute disaster. You think Dane Scarlett's loan deal, Dane Scarlett played 180 minutes in half a season for Ipswich. That Tanganga's not played a bean.
Not played a minute. I'm just having a look at where they are in the league. I mean, they're 11th in the league. 18 points. I'm just trying to see if I know who any of their centre-backs are as to why he wouldn't have played. I mean, Japhet Tanganga. Yeah, I'm looking here. Japhet Tanganga, no minutes. No minutes. Look,
Not good enough, is he?
we got to cut our losses, right? I mean, would you accept 10 million for Japhet Tanganga?
Yeah, of course. Anything. Like,
He came through the youth team, so it's not going to cost you anything, right?
yeah. 6 million, 7 million, you know?
Yeah. Let us know in the chat, by the way. Spence, Reguilon, Tanganga so far. Tell us what you're doing with those. Are you keeping? Are you loaning? Are you selling? What are you doing? I think they're the only three options. You're keeping them, you're loaning them out, or you're selling them. What are you doing with those three? Let's move to the next easier one before we challenge the big one. Dane Scarlett. Now, Dane Scarlett, let me just bring this up, right? So Dane Scarlett, we recalled him. I remember last week it was Postecoglou saying that the loan hadn't gone as we had planned, which essentially for me means he wasn't getting any minutes. Ipswich are flying high. They're second in the championship.
Yep.
I don't believe he started a game for them in the league. And his last appearances, Sean, were 23 minutes, 8 minutes, 23 minutes, 13 minutes, 8 minutes, 19 minutes, 14 minutes, 13 minutes, 10. You get the picture, right? Yeah. All in all, I believe he's played about 160 minutes or something like that for Ipswich. He's now come back to Spurs. Sonny's gone, so we've got lack of firepower. What are you expecting from Dane Scarlett now? Because he can't go back out on loan.
No, so I think he's going to. Well, he's obviously going to have to stay. Even if you can't even set, or if you sold him, not that you would, but even if you could sell him, he still can't play for anyone else this year. So no one's going to come in and pay for him, as far as I understand. So yeah, look, he's going to be on the bench, right?
Does he? There you go. Does he go straight onto the bench for Tottenham as the?
He has to. Well, he does, yeah, because we've got no Sonny, right? He's going to be on the bench tonight. He'll be on the bench tonight. He might even play tonight. God forbid he starts, but he might get some minutes.
He could start, grab a hat trick. Everyone will then start calling him the next Harry Kane.
Yeah, and me and you and everyone else who said, "What are we doing here?" is in the mud.
Forster in goal. Højbjerg skip in the middle.
Yeah. What is that?
Scarlett Hill.
Sorry, people are asking for Foster to be in goal. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we doing this to ourselves? What's going on?
We'll get to tonight's game. For the last 15 minutes, we will talk about tonight's game.
Okay.
But
in terms of Scarlett, mate, I think he's on the bench, right? Alejo Bliss is out. Sonny's not here. Richarlison plays every minute unless we're comfortable, and then Dane Scarlett might get a few minutes. But if something was to happen to Richie, I think then I personally would hope that Ange would redeploy Decky or Brennan Johnson or something, would do something different, because I really don't want to see us start Dane Scarlett. The guy can't get minutes in Ipswich. He barely scored a goal for Pompey in League One last year. He's not ready for the Premier League. So, he should spend as much time on the bench as is necessary for now, and then as little time on the bench as is possible once everyone gets back.
Yeah. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I feel like we've done this down the years, haven't we? I mean, the latest two examples have been Troy Parrott, Dane Scarlett. I think everyone starts talking about them like they've seen them play loads, when in essence we haven't. I mean, he grabbed a goal against, was it Shakhtar in pre-season? We got that really good goal. Was it Kane's last game?
Yeah.
Harry Kane's last game. Yeah, I think Kane got a hat-trick. If I'm not wrong, Kane got a hat-trick, and then Dane Scarlett got a really good goal, and everyone was going, oh, my God.
Oh, my God. He's ready. The new Harry Kane.
He's a new Harry. And then when you start querying things, I can guarantee, without even going through the comments, because I've not caught up with time yet, there'll be people going, you never know. Look what happened. Kane wasn't great on loan. Look what happened to him.
Oh, I've got so many of them in my comments earlier. So many of them.
The exception.
Not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
The exception, not the rule. If we applied that logic to every youth player that goes on loan, every youth player is going to be worth £100 million and captain their country. Look, before we go on to tonight's game, we've got to talk about him. And the reason I say it's the big one of all the players coming back from loan is this is the 5-year saga that won't end.
Yeah.
Tungai Ndombele has gone to Galatasaray. Bearing in mind there were people calling for him to have more chances under Ange in the summer. He's gone to Galatasaray. He's played 8 times, Sean. Played 90 minutes once against Alanyaspor. Sorry, I'm probably butchering that. Every other appearance is 13 minutes, 7 minutes, 12 minutes, 6 minutes. What on earth is going to happen with this guy? Like, what is happening?
It's not a thing. If he comes back, I'm not. Someone said in my video today, in the comments, that there's no break clause. I don't know if that's true or not. I couldn't find out myself, so I don't know. But if there is a break clause, then I wouldn't be surprised to see him come back. Although we haven't heard about it yet. You'd normally have heard about it by now. But if he comes back, there's no chance are we going to be able to find anybody that's going to want to take him. Like, people have seen that training video, that warm-up video where he was like, he couldn't even be bothered to walk to get the ball that had gone loose. He was like, I can't be bothered. Everything about this guy is too hard. He puts everything in the too hard basket. He's got absolutely no desire. Such a shame, because he was a brilliantly talented.
Oh, so talented. It's such a shame, isn't it? You almost want to take his ability and stick it in Højbjerg's attitude.
Oh, imagine the player
don't you? Like, and that's the shame.
Yeah.
That's the shame. Højbjerg and Skip, wonderful attitudes, haven't got the ability. Ndombele got wonderful ability, and just, I don't even think that he wants to be a playboy or anything like that. He just looks like he can't generally be asked. Like, he looks like, oh, this is a bit of a hassle to be a pro footballer and earn 200 grand a week.
He'll retire. He will retire at some point, whether it's in the next couple of years, once his contract's done. He might just go, you know what, I've got 50 million quid in the bank. I'm good. My family's good. And if you see a picture of him in 10 years' time, I reckon he'll be bigger than I am. I reckon he'll be 20 stone plus, because he'll have, like, he's overweight anyway, despite having to run probably 6-7 miles in training every day, just jogging around. Like, I reckon he will balloon after the requirement to get up and go running every morning is taken away from him.
I agree.
But, if he comes back, mate, if he comes back to Tottenham, it's a massive problem, because I don't think anybody's going to want to take him. And if they do, certainly there'll be absolutely zero contribution for his salary. And so on that basis, is Daniel Levy going to deregister him? Well, yeah, I don't think so. Daniel Levy's never done that before, has he? And he won't tear up the contract, because there's still, 18 months left on his contract.
Yeah, he's another one. Him, Højbjerg. Who is it? Him, Højbjerg, Reggie, all got a year and a half left on their contracts. So
that's to pay off Ndombele will be 15 million quid.
Mate, look, I mean, what do you do? I mean, as you said, you started this by saying, who takes him? What director of football or manager is sitting there right now? Right, okay, Sean, you are the chairman of the club that I manage, all right? And I rock up to you and go, yeah, exactly. And I rock up to you with all my respect and say, Mr. Butler, as per the super chats, Mr. Butler, I want us to get a player. And you go, great. What is it? It's a midfielder. He's talented. He's skillful. His club don't want him. Brilliant. Who is it? It's Tungai Ndombele. Right. How much is he paid? Well, he's on 200 grand a week. How much will Spurs want of that? Probably 100 grand a week, right? Probably 100 grand a week. What's his last 4 or 5 years? Well, Galatasaray didn't want to play him, sent him back. Spurs didn't want him and sent him out on loan 2 3 times, whatever we've done now. Jose didn't want him. Conte didn't want him. Postecoglou didn't want him. The France manager doesn't want him. As a chairman, you're going to go, no. Why am I? No one is going to take him on. No one is going to take him on. But as I say, you can't pay his contract off. 15 million quid. You got to pay up front immediately. That destroys your cash flow forecasting. That money will be allocated elsewhere for things like a Dragusin deal. You'd rather off just letting him train by himself every day. I don't know what the solution is with that one.
I really don't know.
It's a tough one, isn't it? And somebody's asking how old Ndombele is. Ndombele's 27 years of age. I think he's going to get to 35, 40 and think, when he wises up, I think what a wasted football career. He should be one of the most talented players in world football with multiple French caps under his belt.
Yeah.
But he isn't. By the way, look, we're going to move on for the last 15, 16 minutes to talk about tonight's game. Before we do, there are exactly 400 of you in here, so you're very welcome to all of you. But there is only 113 likes. You'll always hear me say it. I repeat it all the time. I'll never ask you for super chats, but I do ask for likes and subscribes. Please do subscribe to both myself and Sean. If anyone would be kind enough to stick Sean's link in the chat, my link is pinned, so please subscribe to me. And those likes need to be, Sean, look, by 10-2 in 5 minutes, we need to be at 200 likes, right? 133 right now.
How many people are in the house?
404.
You got to be at 250.
Oh,
60%
absolutely.
ratio.
Absolutely.
Free to do.
Absolutely. Let's talk about tonight, everybody. Tonight, we are playing in the FA Cup. It's really weird. Friday night, FA Cup third round. Doesn't sound right, but never mind. We are playing.
I can't wait for it, mate. I love the FA Cup.
I can't wait for it, but honestly, some of the debates I've been having with people.
I watched it back. I watched your show last night back this morning.
Right. And
quite interesting, to be honest.
Well, some people are saying he's going to play Forster. He's going to go with Skip, Højbjerg, Hill, Scarlett, whatever. Other people going, hang on, we ain't got a game for 10 days.
Yeah,
Put your best 11 out there.
I'm in
Get
that bucket.
through.
Yeah.
Right. So what 11 are you expecting to see tonight? Everyone in the chat, let us know.
Expecting versus want. I'll start with what I want, right? I'll start with what I want to see, the very best 11 that we have. And I want to see, if possible, the people that need match fitness to get a few minutes, but I don't know what level their fitness is at. So I would imagine that Van der Ven's not ready for 90 minutes. Does he start and do half an hour or 45 minutes? Or does he come on for the last half an hour? At some point, you'd hope to see Van der Ven. I definitely want to see Bentancur get at least 45. He played 35. No, how much did he play? He played, what was it, 60 at Bournemouth? But he wasn't really, you could tell he was shattered.
Sorry, we're talking Bentancur.
Yeah,
go on. You do that. I'll have a cheeky little look at Tottenham Hotspur.
I think the Bournemouth game, he obviously wasn't really fit, but his presence reassured everybody. But I think 58 minutes. Okay.
58, yeah.
It certainly wasn't his best performance, but I think, you'd like to see him get 60 minutes again, and hopefully he can ramp it up. And so I want to see us go as strong as possible. This idea you put Fraser Foster in, absolutely not. Sorry, mate. For me, you are terrifying with the ball at your feet. I know you did really well with your shot stopping in the Fulham game, but when we're under pressure, when we're under pressure, and our defenders look for outlets, and Vicario is a massively important outlet. Sorry, Fraser. As much as I respect what you did last year, mate, for me, you are only needed in an emergency, not in the third round of the FA Cup to give you some minutes. So for me, it's Vicario. I want to see Pedro Porro. If there's the new dog, he's got a hammy injury and he's sore, then okay, I'm okay with seeing something else. But if he's not, if he's fine, I want him to play. Mate, I want us to take this competition seriously. We've had 6 days since the last game. We've got 10 days until the next. Why not just think of this like it's another additional Premier League game? Take it seriously. You wouldn't put Fraser Foster in goal if it was Manchester United. So why are we doing it for the cup? If you do that sort of thing, then it tells you that it tells everybody that you are deprioritizing the cup. And I think every single Tottenham fan should, in my opinion, should want us to win this tournament, and therefore you should treat it as seriously as everything else. And we wouldn't be happy if Vicario was being rested against Manchester United. So why are we okay with it tonight? To me, you go as strong as you can, and that looks like Vicario, Porro, Udogie, Davies, Royale, Bentancur, Lo Celso, Decky, Brennan Johnson, Brian Hill, Richarlison.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't be a hypocrite again. I'll stand what I said. I wouldn't mind seeing a Donnelly start. I wouldn't mind seeing one. But I certainly think I don't want to start messing around with the entire midfield with the goalkeeper. I think, listen, I said on a show earlier when I was working with LB, and even like rival fans saying, Spurs take it seriously. Like, they say it. You guys haven't won a cup for 16 years. You've got to go for this tournament. You've got to try and win it. And then we've got fans saying, no, it's not that important. Then we've got other fans that I think are misconstruing Ange's words. Go on, is that mummy? Go and get mummy. Go and get mummy. Go on. Yeah, go on. The door. Idiot. He's just looking up at me going, what? At the door. There you go. He's just realised she's home. Just when she's home, I don't get her looking. Look, for me, I think we should beat Burnley, whatever. I've said this to you all week. I think we should beat Burnley, whatever. But if you do put in Forster and your two centre-halves are Royale and Davis, now we know they're going to be Davis, but if you then on top of that put in Forster and then the two in front of them are Skip and Højbjerg, and then you have got Brian Hill on the wing and you get knocked out, for me, then you've got to ask questions of what the manager's doing, right? I know we're not allowed to, right, in some quarters, but I really hope tonight we just click on the team news and go, that's the 11.
Go 3-0 up, and in the 60th minute, for me, then you give Donnelly, then you give Phillips, then you do what you got to do, right? Then you give the people the opportunity with enough time to actually spread their wings, but go full strength. Because just imagine the meltdown around the energy around the football club. Like the energy around the football club went so toxic for a brief moment after the Fulham game. Everybody was at each other's throats. It felt like it was last season all over again. Yeah. Burnley have got bigger fish to fry. They got relegation.
Right, Arsenal.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. But they got bigger fish in terms of like concerns rather than opportunities. They've got threats from getting relegated. So they will treat this with a bit of liberal. I believe they'll treat this with a bit of sort of liberal. It's a free hit sort of thing. So they will be dangerous. I agree with that comment, but I don't want Tottenham to do that, because I think that we're onto a good thing. We're about to have a lot of players coming back. You get through the third round, you get a decent draw in the fourth round. Then you can turn your attention and focus on Manchester United. You get through that, and then you get that momentum building back again, and we can really kick on in the second half. But it starts with taking this seriously tonight. So I'm not someone who wants any kind of like B team players coming in to give them minutes. Not for me.
Yeah, and Nick, by the way, we've got 9 days. Is it 9 days until the 9
big
days,
up,
big up Barry. Yeah. Big up Barry. I think Barry's forgotten my phone number. I haven't heard from him forever. Love you though. Much love. It is interesting one, because they will be relaxed. They have got, for the lack of a better term, bigger fish to fry. The one hesitation I've got about watching Spurs at the moment, by the way, I have caveated this by saying I think we're going to win 3-0 or 3-1, is that if you are Vincent Kompany, you would have looked at our last 3 games and gone, you can get through them easily. Now, whether or not they've got the quality, Sean, to do anything when they get in the final third, that's a different ball game. But they will be thinking to themselves, won't they, that, hey, look what Everton created. Look what Brighton created. Look what Bournemouth created. I think between those 3 clubs, it was 61 or 62 attempts. So Vincent Kompany will be setting them up to play.
Burnley went to Craven Cottage 3 weeks ago and beat Fulham 2-0. The same Fulham team that beat Arsenal a week later.
Yeah,
I know. Like, let's not sort of disrespect what Burnley can do on their day. They're a dangerous team. So, for me,
and they just had loads of chances at Villa Park.
Yeah,
at the weekend against the good Aston Villa team. So, whether they can finish their dinner or not, but the one thing we do know is that at the back they are
vulnerable. Yeah.
Vulnerable is the kind word. Yeah, they are vulnerable. They look in the Premier League. They've won 3 games out of 20, and they conceded 41 goals. So they concede 2 goals a game, right? They concede 2 goals a game. We've got enough, haven't we, in that forward line, whatever the forward line is today, that we can't be saying, oh, well, Sonny wasn't there. It's why we didn't score against Burnley. No. We've got enough, right?
There's no excuse. But there's no excuse. But like I say, for me, I'm sorry. Like, if people want to see an Ash Phillips play, okay. If you want to see a Donnelly play, okay. But when you start messing around and saying we're putting Fraser Foster in and we're making wholesale changes, we want to see Ollie Skip play. We want to see Donnelly. We want to see Phillips. We want to see Fraser Foster. We want to see, Ben Davies put at the left back and also Dorrington putting on the centre back. I'm like, what's going on here? Because if it doesn't work out, you'll then be furious that we didn't take it seriously again. There's a lot of the same people that say we haven't won a trophy in 15 years. And that's why Daniel Levy should be, hung, drawn and quartered. But they're also now advocating playing a weaker team. I don't, for me, it's like, doesn't add up. And I just want to see us take it as seriously as possible. It might be different if we had a game on
comments
Wednesday.
Comments like this. Comments like this.
It's an insignificant match for a Tin Pot trophy. Spurs don't need to play in these inferior cup tournaments. Can't be. Are you serious, Trevor? He's joking.
I genuinely don't know anymore with people. The problem is when there's no tone, it's really hard to tell whether or not someone's actually pulling my leg or not. But I'll move on from that. Look,
Trevor, let us know if you're being serious or not, because if you are, that's concerning.
Yeah. Matt Cox is saying our reserve team lost every Europa Conference match. Just play the A team. Look, agreed. I think somebody in here earlier said, "Oh, look, we'll probably make 5 or 6 changes." Oh, here it is. Craig Nichols, big up, Craig, said, "I bet you make 5 changes from on and we'll start at 11." I think this is going to be quite skewed because obviously Papa Sarr and Son going to the, obviously Maddison, Romero, Van de Ven would be in there. So those are the 5, I suppose you could say straight away. But there is enough when you look at. Brennan Johnson was 50 million. Richarlison was 60 million. Yeah. Kulusevski's just won Sweden Player of the Year for the 2nd year running. Gio Lo Celso, everyone raves about, right? Bentancur is everyone's favourite midfielder. Yes, he's going to have to probably play alongside either a Højbjerg or Skip, depending on what Ange does. But that 6 going forward, they've got to score. They've got to score goals. Do you think he's going to be in for a bit of stick if we don't go through tonight, the manager?
Yeah.
Or do you think people will just overlook it because we're doing what we're doing in the league?
No, I think if we don't go through, well, it depends on what happens, right? If Burnley just play out of this, if Burnley suddenly become, the best version of themselves and there's some 50-50s or just, their goalkeeper puts in an absolute worldie and whatever. If there's some sort of reality check that just happens to where things fall in a different direction, then maybe it will be more tolerable. But if the boys don't turn up and if we put in a second string or overly weaken the side, then for sure he's up for. Mate, you and I do this we speak about this every week. There's a certain element of the fan base that won't allow you to, like, if you analyze the game in any way other than we won, therefore everything's perfect. I mean, that's not the point of having a channel, is it? The whole point of having a channel is to discuss and go through.
Yeah, to dissect things. Yeah,
right. I'm glad Trevor was.
Yes, good. I'm so glad. By the way, Roy, I'm not having this. No. I am Levy out, but what I won't do is I won't see if Ange Postecoglou gets the team wrong, us going, oh, that's Levy. It feels like it's a very convenient cop-out every time a manager does something wrong or silly. And by the way, I'm not saying Ange will. I don't think he will. I think he's going to play Vicario. But if he does play Fraser Forster, and that is why we lose, because we know Big Vic has rescued us in recent months, that can't be on Levy, can it? Can't just turn around and go, oh, Levy did that. Surely.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. There's plenty goal news about Dier. There's a fee's been agreed. We've actually got a fee agreed for Eric Dier. Let me get that up on Twitter. Can you see it?
I've not. Hang on. I'm gonna find him. 1 second. I'm gonna find him. 1 second. Let's duplicate that. And then what's his name? Florian
Plettigold. Here you go. No, the Spurs Express. Total verbal agreement between FC Bayern and Dier. The 29-year-old wants to join Bayern now. Transfer fee less than €5 million. We're actually getting paid?
Wow. I'll bring it up. I'll show you exactly what's being said by Florian Plettenberg. Hopefully you can all see that. Exclusive details. Eric Dier. I can't believe this. Total verbal agreement between FC Bayern and Dier. The 29-year-old wants to join Bayern now. No shit, Sherlock. Does he want to join Bayern Munich? Contract at least until 2025. Oh, okay. Transfer fee less than 5 million. Tuchel has spoken to Dier. They plan to use him as a centre-back and in the defensive midfield. Hang on. I think there was a little bit more to that story. 1 second. Can you see that? and the defensive midfield. Green light from Spurs official. Everything is prepared. Bayern just need to make the final decision for Dier. Wow, it is
And
April
5 million
Fool's Day.
euros. You know what you got to do now? You take that 5 million euros and you phone up Genoa and go, how to change of plan, right?
Yeah.
You want that 30? You got the 30. Thanks very much. 5 million euros for Eric Dier. Come on.
Absolutely. I tell you what, I said the other day, God, people are going to West Ham want him. I said, there's no way that West Ham would want someone as bad as Eric Dier.
I think he could suit West Ham's. West Ham played the low block, right? He had less dependency on your pace, just more dependency on your ability to get the ball out, head it, and stuff. Like there's horses.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Harry Kane's done one last favour for Tottenham. He's one of our own.
Harry Kane. Look, we are gonna leave it there. Sorry, Thomas Winner said he can't leave until we bring one in, lads. Another reporter says, I think it's more like the other way around, isn't it? Isn't it more like we can't bring one in until he goes? Surely that makes more sense, doesn't it? Anyway.
I'd hope that one predicates the other, right? Like if Eric Dier, if we're shaking hands there, we phone back Genoa and go, all right, there's your additional money. Thanks very much. Everyone's happy. Let's
I'm gonna just before we go, big up Donna Cullen's come in. I'm pretty sure that Donna Cullen and Daniel Levy account is the same person. But so Mr. Savva, Mr. Boss likes your friend and I like you. Mr. Boss. Next time we can all go together on a double date. Sounds splendid. Sean and I will be over to India shortly and we'll make this happen. Big up to you, Donna. Daniel Levy said, Mr. Butler, have you watched Heartstopper?
What's going on, mate?
I've no idea what that is.
You're paying your hard-earned money to flirt as a joke. It's
mad. Daniel, just imagine how much money this person probably pumps into OnlyFans. Daniel Lee, I'm going to start an OnlyFans page and see what I can make. Yeah. I don't need cold bucket. I need hot shower of Mr. Butler with a heart-shaped bath, but I've no idea what is happening right now. I'm reading these out because you paid. Mr. Butler, marry me, and all of mine would indeed be yours. You can have all that I have. You will be chairman for real. Wow. Proud to be a Geordie, has been a member for 2 months. Where have you been? Haven't seen you for a while. Where have you been? Big up to you, proud to be a Geordie. Hope you are well. And last comment I did want to say, I just wanted to briefly touch on. Now, I have not seen anything about this. The first I've heard from this, apparently if Kate is taking a break. I haven't heard anything about this. I don't know if you have, Sean.
What's happening?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's taking break for mental health. Now it's Kate.
Look,
I didn't know.
I don't know. So I'm not going to speak about Kate. What I would say to everyone is please, can we learn the difference between football and abuse? We've really got to do that. We've got to get to that stage. I'm seeing the last couple of days on Twitter, lots of Spurs YouTubers are getting absolutely abused just for having a different opinion. I'm seeing that lots of Spurs YouTubers are just getting really fed up within their YouTube chats, the amount of constant abuse, the trolls, the swearing. Look, every Spurs YouTuber, they do this. We don't make bundles of money, right? I know you all think we make loads of money. We don't, right? We do this in our spare time. We put the shows on for everybody else to come in, have a platform to chat. All I would say is if people are suffering from mental health, then let them have their time away. But just think about that next time anybody abuses somebody in a chat. Yeah, it's not nice. I'm not blaming anyone here, but let's just start being a little bit kinder to each other. We all make mistakes. We all do bad things in life, but let's start being a little bit kinder to each other. Sean, that's all I'm going to say on that. And if that
quickly,
isn't true,
another tweet out from Romano.
Hang on, I'm going in. Right, where he is.
Basically just repeating the same thing he said before. But okay, we're back in for Dragusin. We're back in.
Oh my God! Right, let's bring it up really quickly.
Talk going 30 million.
Here we go. So Fabrizio Romano has said, understand, I love that. Understand Tottenham have made new contact with Genoa for Radu Dragusin. Negotiations still ongoing and expected to continue over the weekend. Personal terms remain agreed with Spurs. Genoa insist on 30 million guaranteed fee. Formal official bid expected soon. You told us it was a formal official bid today. Right, that's a great way to end the show. Sean, thank you so much for this.
Yeah, appreciate it, mate. Enjoyed it. Looking forward to doing these every week.
Absolutely, man. Quick 1 hour shows. Everybody in the chat, please smash the like on your way out. Please keep subscribing to my channel and to Sean's. Please show the love. I'm live at 7. I think Sean is as well. So whoever you want to go and watch, go and watch. Enjoy the watch-alongs. Enjoy Tottenham tonight. And as always, come on, you Spurs.